Hey guys, this is Forsaken Reality here with the fourth video of the RPG tutorial series. And in this video we're going to fix up and change a few slight things, and also we'll be looking into importing some melee animations from Mixamo and showing you a tool to easily fix and set up the skeleton so that the animations work properly. So without further ado, we'll get into that. The first thing we're going to do is go into our animations and make sure that these are interpolation time 0.4 for the speed on both. Then we will go to blueprints, data, enums, and we will reset these to melee, magic, range, so we can just determine what combat styles what stance for melee stance and range stance and magic stance, and the animations will be determined within each weapon rather than big list here of stances determining for each one. So we only need to put the animations in once and make it a lot easier. We want to make another enum. I might change this after, but for now, item type. And for now, let's make a few of these. One will be usable, which honestly could have been named a little better, but this item will be not able to be picked up, just clicked and used. So basically, this will be the default, and if it's not a consumable, which can be added to the inventory when we have one, or equipped, something like that, it will just be clicked and destroyed and used. That's what a usable will be. Shield. The reason I might redo this later is because I might just set it up so usable items are items that you walk on to use instead of having to click them. I will set that up. And we're going to want a structure called, we're going to right click blueprint structure, and it's going to be called st item details. Give you all the details for your items, like the name, mesh. So we'll start name, description, set these as a string, item mesh. I'll set this to a static mesh, and want check our stance through here for each item. This allows us to set our stance for each item. Stance will go there, so that's there now. This will be the blueprint. Actually, I will stop it. Okay, first we're going to go create a master holdable blueprint, because the way we're going to do this is have a master holdable and a master pickup, so that when we pick up the item and destroy the item on the ground, it's not that we still it'll create a reference to another blueprint. So rather than it being destroyed, there's another blueprint that's being active, which will be the holdable, not the pickup. And because the pickup gets destroyed, and yeah, then we'll have the holdable that we can still reference even after it's in your hand. hopefully that made a little sense. It sounded a little confusing to me, but I'll show you guys either way. Okay, so we'll go to our blueprints folder and create a new folder called items, and here create a new folder called holdable, and another folder called pickups. First we'll do the foldable folder. So we'll create a new actor blueprint, call it BP master holdable. Open this up. And we'll just set a static mesh here. This will be called holdable mesh. File and save. And we can close this out for now. Now we can come in here and create a new variable. And this will be called holdable BP. And we will call our holdable class here. So, and holdable. And we gotta make sure it's a class reference. And then we're gonna create another variable, and we're gonna call this one right hand socket, and this will be the right hand socket. And that'll be a name, then we'll create two more. And this will be left hand socket and back socket. And one more called type. And this will be our e_item type enum that we just made. These. And I guess I'll move this up to right. Here. That's good. Okay. So now we have our this set up for now. We'll probably be adding a lot more to this after. We will want to create some axes variables, I think. Now quick. Since last time we didn't do that. These will be used in the animation blueprint to make it a little bit easier to deal with, because when you're going forward, the axis is 1. When you're going backwards, it's -1. So when you're not moving, it's 0. Rather than checking for your speed, which causes some issues in the when you're doing certain animations, we will drag out of here, promote this to a variable. Oops, sorry, not here. We want to go to our input graph and move forward. And this is the one we want to drag out of the promote variable. We're going to call this forward axes, or actually we'll call them trying to get my reference copy here for a second because I had to do something else here. Oh yeah, I had to. Okay, these variables actually need to be replicated, so we'll create them and we'll name them. axes value y. Pull this, we'll delete this for now. And then we'll create another one. Axes value x. Set that to a float. I want to go into replication, store this in here. I want to create a custom event. Server axes value y. Another custom event. Decast axes value y. I want to set this to multicast and reliable and server and reliable. And we want to get our axes value y and set it. Plug that in there. Actually, we're gonna quickly go to your character component and drag out these two axes values, copy them, and paste them in here, create those two. You can just delete those, compile, save. Also, if you click this, save and compile on success only, you can compile and it will automatically save if it's no errors. So now we want to delete these and drag out our character components so that all of our variables are in the character component. So get axes value y, or set axes value y, sorry. Plug this in. That. And then you want to call the multicast axes value y on and plug it to execute on server. And now we want two more custom events. Server axes value x. Multicast axes value y, or x, sorry. And get our character component, axes value, set axes value x. Plug this in. Multicast axes value x. This in, everything's right. Comment replicated values. Comment a little more forward. Left, right movement. There. So that's that. And I want to go to our input graph and call server axes value y, I believe is the top one. For forward, yes. Plug these in. Move this over a bit, make some room. some more room. And copy paste. Oh, no, don't copy. Server axis value X. Plug this into. And just realized the node looks smaller. After further looking at it, I realized I didn't set the events to replicate it. So make sure you set this to run on server and reliable, multicast and reliable. There we go. Save. And now we want to go to our animation blueprint and drag out of our comment. Delete this comment because I'm going to recomment it as just character variables after axis value X, axis value Y. I also want to get our stance. Okay. I'm going to go into our character component and create a variable called stance and search for E_stance. And now we can drag it up here and type stance. Once you make sure you gotta compile this, here this won't just show up. And set stance. Don't set stance. Drag out and promote the variable. That'll create a variable for the animation blueprint. Promote the variable. Promote the variable. And I'll quickly comment these axes values. Just comment those. Easy peasy. And now we have access to these variables in our animation blueprint. So we want to go to our animation graph, our idle and walk. We're going to want to delete this. We're going to get the axis value X and axis value Y. And we're going to check if they equal 0. Copy this so there's 2. I want to check if they both equal 0. Because if there's no values on either axis, that means the character is not moving. And you don't need a branch. Just plug this in here. So this basically is checks if there's anything but 0, because 0 means it's not moving. And that'll determine if it's going to be walking or not. I think that's all that was for now. Yes. And we're actually going to redo a little bit here instead of blending by bool, which actually, yeah, we're going to still blend by bool, but we're going to add in something, and it's going to be, you're going to get your stance, then we're going to blend poses. Blend poses E stance. Should be at the very top. Then you're going to right click it, click on equip, add a pin for melee, add a pin for magic, add a pin for range. So you can determine your idle animations for each one. Right now we're going to have this, but eventually these animations are going to be all called from each weapon, so that like when you pick up a weapon, it'll determine, it'll know which stance it's in, and then it'll know which animations to put out, rather than having to do a lot of it. So there's the unequip. Since we're set to unequip by default. Give that a little name. And everything should still be working fine. Yep. And that's checking the axes values rather than the speed. So when we add like say an attack animation that has root motion that moves the character forward, which would add to the speed, it's not gonna like start jumbling up making the animations look like this, like I'm spamming the keyboard, like twitch out the character when you spam, kind of deal. But you're not spamming, you're just attacking. Just trying to play multiple animations basically. Now that we have that set up, we will work on the Okay, I just thought of something. I noticed earlier when I was testing it out that you can sprint in all directions. There was nothing checking for it, so we want to go into our master character and or actually our character component. Just gonna close out of the and in our character component we want to create a new character called the can run. So this is if you're running already, and this is if you can run. Put that up there. So now we'll come over here, a little bit of room here, and we'll check our character component, and we'll see if we can run. And then we'll get a branch, so hold B and click, type it in. Let's reorganize this in a minute. So if you can run, obviously we'll want to set run, and if not, we'll just go down to there. Just squeeze these over some. So now we have a sprinting check created. And now we can create a tick. We're going to want to check if the forward axis is pressed and set the ability to run basically. So we're going to want to create a branch. B click and character component, axis value Y. And we're going to want to see if this equals 1, because 1 means forward, -1 means backward, and 0 is not moving at all. So we want to check if if the forward axis is pressed. This will also work if we're going forward, left, and forward, right. And if it is pressed, we want to get our character component. Set can run. True. And if not, we want to set can. I'm just going to create another one. I don't like having wires all over the place. Can run false. And we're also going to set the walking, so server walk. We're going to tell the player to walk. I'm going to just check if one forward press. And we're just going to comment it all tick. And we don't really need to comment this because it's pretty. It should be it for the running check. So run forward, and you go left and go forward, and you're walking. Can't sprint any other direction. So there's that. Next, we're going to work on. Actually, I might cut the video now and do the next part in the next video, which we'll start on pickups and drop items and holdables. And after that, we'll start into combat, getting some melee animations put in, starting off. So thanks for watching, and if you like the video, make sure to subscribe and like. If you have any comments, leave them below, or anything you think could be done differently perhaps, or any suggestions for me. I wouldn't mind adding them to my list. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.